Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
And we're going to do our spoiler talk for Season 4 of Arrow. I love this show. Like, from the beginning, I have loved this show. And I think Stephen Amell is an awesome Arrow. Mm-hmm. And, like, most of the cast they have for this show, I think is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
Season 1 and 2 are my favorites. And of that, Season 2, like, with Slade Wilson as the villain, awesome! It was just so good! Mm-hmm. Season 3 lost me. I binged the first 2 seasons of Arrow like it was nothing. I got 2-3 episodes into Season 3 and I couldn't do it again. Like, I don't know why. There was something about Season 3 that lost me.
Is it bad I can't even remember who the villain was in Season 3?
It was Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Batman guy who trained Batman. Though the cool thing about that is it lets us know somewhere in this universe, Batman is there.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Somewhere. Once we got back into Season 4, the show began to win me back. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like it's quite the same. I like Arrow when he's a bit darker. Not so much when he kills, but when he's, Batman Begins a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I felt like because The Flash did so well, they're like, well, let's brighten everything up. And it's like, no. You gotta stay true to your identities. It's really cool to have Arrow be Arrow in this kind of dark show and Flash be Flash in this kind of light show and then watch those personalities like meet up and things like that's cool. Just like The Flash, I made a list because it's 23 episodes yet again. I promise you we're not going to cover everything in this spoiler talk. So if you're still catching up, we are going to spoil this show.
Yes, so if you haven't finished it yet or if you plan to watch it and don't want to know how it ends, do not watch this.
There were things I liked and things I didn't like about Season 4. So the things I liked, we'll start there. How's that sound? Showing us that someone died in the very first episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right from the beginning. Who could it be?
Yes. And what was so smart about it is Oliver's reaction. Like when he's looking at that tombstone, you can just tell there's a lot of pain and there's a lot of hurt. But at the same time, it's not such a great expression that you're like, oh no, it's Felicity. Oh no, it's Diggle. Oh no, it's this person. Oh no, it's that person. It's kind of just, it's like, he's hurting, but you can't figure out who it's for. And then his lines, I don't blame myself, but this is my responsibility to end this.
We did predictions at the beginning of after the first episode with some good friends, and all of us guessed somebody different, none of us guessed the person who actually did die.
I was actually, in that first episode, I was torn 50-50 between Diggle and Felicity, because I don't think either one of them is actual characters in the comics. But I know Felicity wasn't in the comics. Diggle I was back and forth on, and so that's why I was stuck on those characters, because in the comic books, he, is with the Black Canary. So that's why I'm sitting there thinking...
It can't be Laurel.
Yeah, it can't be. Why would it be Laurel? Who would think Laurel?
I thought it was going to be Captain Lance. I was wrong.
It could have been Captain Lance.
It had us guessing for at least half the season.
Oh my goodness. And it really kept me hanging in there because each episode would drop some sort of clue. Then double back on that clue and drop another clue of somebody else.
We would keep changing who we thought was going to die.
One of the things I didn't like about Season 3 was that wedge between Oliver and Diggle.
It was pointless.
I get it. Oliver, playing the bad guy, took Diggle's wife hostage. I think that's enough to make anybody mad.
He knew Oliver well enough at that time that he should have known that Oliver wouldn't do something like that.
It's that soap opera kind of drama to me, and I'm glad they resolved that pretty fast. Because I think Oliver and Diggle are such a great team. Like right there in Season 1, when Diggle's the first guy who figures out Oliver is the Green Arrow because, the Arrow back then, and Oliver tries to save him and all that stuff. Like, that was cool. And it was
good. It was just their chemistry is so good together, and they get each other and they play off each other well. And it's just, even though I don't necessarily like the Spartan's character when he's kicking butt.
No, I don't like the helmet.
Like Diggle.
I don't like the Spartan helmet.
Honestly, he used to do it without a mask.
Yeah.
And
nobody
was
caught
stupid
on.
then, and we knew it was stupid then, but
it's like
he
Clark
did it.
Kent wearing the glasses. We know it's stupid. We just accept it. We've come to accept this. And point is, I didn't like the helmet, but I, like you said, love Diggle. Like, he's awesome.
Diggle's awesome.
Oh, yeah. So Diggle continued to be awesome in the season. I'm glad they buried the hatchet. And then switched places toward the mid-season where Diggle was the one getting emotionally compromised and Oliver was the one trying to bring him back. That was kind of cool the way they did it. And Diggle's brother.
Yeah.
Like, he's not dead like we all thought he was, but he was working for Damien Dark with the, what did they call that Foot Clan? It wasn't the Foot Clan.
The Hive?
The Hive! But there was a scene, or not a scene, but just as those episodes where it seemed like Diggle's brother was turning over a new leaf, that seemed really fake to me.
Oh, you could tell it was fake.
But oh, yeah.
Diggle, but I think we were supposed to think it was fake.
Yes, and we were supposed to see that Diggle really hoped that his brother really was turning back good. Yeah, and then that was really sad when he actually shot his brother. It was sad. Know
what I thought was sad is the entire time I was thinking back to season 1 when Diggle got with his ex or with his brother's wife.
Oh yeah.
Almost the entire time. But
yeah, because
luckily he never told his brother.
Yeah, that was weird. Anyway. But that was still a cool dynamic, bringing the brother in, and Diggle having to face those feelings, and face those demons. With Oliver facing all kinds of demons in himself already. Like this season, Oliver finally figures out he's a dad. Like they teased it in The Flash, they teased it in the very first season of Arrow, but this is the season where they find out.
And and he sees him.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes, too, by the way, it was the 2-part Flash crossover where they brought in Vandal Savage, who is a really cheesy villain in the Legends of Tomorrow, but I thought it worked really well inside the Flash and Arrow crossover.
It did.
Because it was a good way to introduce the Hawk people, Hawkman, Hawkwoman, who are not my favorite heroes. But anyway, that was a cool 2-part episode, and it was cool the way they introduced us to Oliver's son, and Oliver got to see that he had the son, because then Barry Allen was the one who did the test to go, yep, you're the father, and then Felicity finds out, she gets like super angry and dumps him, which was honestly a little too melodramatic. I mean, come on, Oliver had just found out he was a dad. Granted, he should have told her from the beginning he had suspicions. That was his fault. But at the same time, him not knowing he was a father and that horrible angsty fear feeling of not knowing, I could see why he didn't want to tell her until he knew for sure, and then she kind of confirmed all his worst nightmares, and then Vandal Savage killed everybody, and the Flash time traveled.
Yeah.
and saved the whole day, and that all unfolded a totally different way.
And Oliver still didn't tell Felicity, which was a huge mistake, because honestly... I mean, a relationship and a marriage is based off of trust. And even though the child's mother made him swear never to tell anybody or else he would never see the kid again, he should have, bent the rules or written it down on a piece of paper. He's not verbally telling her, or figured out a loophole of some sort, because if it would have come from him, she would have been understanding. I mean, and there wouldn't have been the whole drama of them breaking up.
Oh my, honestly, that might have still happened. But
they probably would have still broken up. It was drama.
And it was kind of Oliver's fault that, everybody found out before Felicity. I mean, Barry, for good reason, because he actually did the blood test to figure it out.
Yes.
And then, who else knew?
His sister knew just because of the check that she saw in the checkbook that the girl never cashed.
Yeah, the $1 million check that the mom wrote in season 1.
Yeah, wrote to, yeah.
That was really confusing. You had to be there. Anyway, so I can get why in the new timeline that Felicity dumped him. I can get that. But something happened.
Did we even mention that they weren't engaged at the beginning of the season and then got engaged?
Which was a great Christmas episode.
Yes.
But I didn't like what became of her character after she dumped Oliver. I'm not saying she wasn't justified in dumping him. She was. And she is justified in being angry. But there was something kind of soap opera-y and melodramatic about it that didn't feel quite real.
Still wasn't as bad as Lana Lang from Smallville.
I wasn't even gonna go there.
Felicity pulled it back around in the end.
She did.
I mean...
I'll give it to Felicity.
The character did, because it's like... It's understandable. There is a grieving process. But then at the end, she realized that, it's about helping the city. And this is the team, and... She has to put their differences aside to be able to help, make the world survive.
And then we got that great fake out, mid-season finale. Oliver proposes to Felicity. Oliver's running for mayor. Damien Dark, Sorcerer Supreme. Wait, no, that's the other dude from Marvel. Damien Dark, magic dude. He has Felicity shot. And so in that moment, I remember having an actual argument with one of my brother-in-laws. It's not Felicity. It's too soon. It's in April that we see who's in that grave. This is way too soon. It's a fake out. He's like, no, it's her, because it's not going to come back until then. It's like, what? It's coming back in January. We literally at Christmas, we went back and forth on it.
It was annoying for me. Sorry, that was mean.
Well, let's get into kind of where I felt like the things I didn't like about this show. And this season, sorry. Thank you. For season 4, some of the things I didn't like, Damien Dark. I had a love-hate relationship with that villain. Mm-hmm. The actor who played him, which, by the way, was in Captain America's troop in Captain America: The First Avenger. That is utterly fantastic. But he was a great villain. Like, I liked him as, like, the actor himself, I liked him.
When he was evil, he was good.
Oh, it was good. And he was a real threat to Arrow. I didn't like the whole concept of magic. I mean, I get it. It's the DC universe.
It's there.
It just felt out of place.
I don't know. I think they were getting to a point where they had to figure out what to do next, what kind of a villain to do next. And since he was part of the League of Assassins and Merlin knew him and Ra's al Ghul knew him because Ra's al Ghul trained him. So it was a natural move for the next season to go from this, because you just went through Ra's al Ghul seeing how bad the League of Assassins is. How bad is this group that branched off from them and are doing even more worse things? They're ghosts. They're killing people. These people are brainwashed and they'll do anything that he tells them to. So it was a natural thing. It's just the way they did it with the magic. Like, they had pills and medicine brainwashing people. Yeah. That made a lot of sense. But then when it went to the magic, it just kind of...
Yeah, and he had this totem. It was this, like, weird demon head thing. And, as long as he had it, every person he killed, their soul gave him magical powers.
Yeah, it made him stronger.
Yeah. I don't know.
They didn't really explain it much, and I didn't like it.
I felt like they went there because it's a DC thing, and Marvel's about to go there with the movies with Doctor Strange and things like that. So I feel like that's DC being like, yeah, we should go there. Mm-hmm. And I felt like, they went there, but they didn't quite know what to do there. Because, like, for instance, Constantine, which I guess was on NBC and got canceled, and I didn't watch it, but they brought that same actor playing that character, Constantine, to carry it through in one episode of Arrow.
Yes.
But they never brought him back. And it was with that lame thing where they brought Sarah back from the dead. She's dead for a whole year, so that undercuts, all tension, period, because now death is not a factor. Mm-hmm. Granted, they did destroy the Lazarus Pit, and they made a point to say they destroyed the Lazarus Pit, but you can't forget the Flash also time travels. So they made a point that, no more Lazarus Pit and all that, but Constantine comes in, like Thea, who was in the Lazarus Pit, comes out with this wicked bloodlust, like the spirits of people past trying to, take possession and get a bloodlust.
She feels better after she kills somebody, and it kind of puts the bloodlust to bed for a little while.
With Sarah. But with Sarah, Constantine comes in for one episode. They all go to this little spiritual dreamscape, and they cast out these demons, and Sarah is cured. And then Thea, why didn't they let Constantine cure her? I don't know, but somehow Damien Dark, like him trying to put magic on her, backfired on him and cured her.
No, it didn't cure her. It just put her bloodlust at bed. And I'm like sitting here, what an awesome thing. Damien Dark tried to choke Thea.
Yeah.
And his powers were reversing back on him. And they never went back to that. Like, I'm like, Thea's gonna kill Damien Dark.
Like, I thought, the solution. Like, she was supposed to, like, I'm thinking that's it. She's the key, and they'll come right back. Not only did they never come back, I felt like they never went back to the bloodlust.
Mm-hmm. Well, I thought that was gonna be who died, because I thought Thea was gonna give her life, letting Damien Dark kill her.
That makes sense.
And she would die by taking all of it. And that's really where I thought I was, but let's not go back to an awesome potential story.
Yeah. So
I was not happy about that.
Yeah, that was kind of a little depressing. And so that's kind of what I mean by I felt like they wanted to go there with the magic, but they didn't know what to do once they were there. So those were some of my problems with the whole magic theme. It wasn't that I disliked the villain Damien Dark. That actor was great.
He was great.
The villain was great. It's just what they did with the magic. It's like they didn't quite know what to do with the magic. Mm-hmm. And then the flashbacks were just horrible this year.
Yeah, they were. It was to show you the power of the totem, and that was it.
And so then we find out who dies. Here's my theory. This is just a theory. Laurel isn't dead. It's too suspicious to me that there they are in the hospital. And she tells Oliver, "You're the love of my life," and things like that. And then she goes, "I need you to make me a promise." Immediately we cut to outside the window, we see they're talking to each other. Then we cut to inside, and suddenly she's flatlining, like, on cue. Mm-hmm. Granted, everybody believes she's dead, and her dad knows she's dead, and everybody's crying, and it was actually kind of a sad episode. But I don't think she's dead, because that mysterious promise, I don't know why she would need to fake her death. No idea. But I'm pretty sure her death is faked.
We'll see. Next season.
Yeah. And then on top of all of this, Oliver finally becomes mayor. I mean, I guess not the official elected mayor.
Even though he got 48% of the write-in vote.
But then it turns out his opponent was evil.
And she died.
In the end, I'm going to give season 4 3.5 out of 5 stars. I mean, yeah, I'm being a little negative about it here towards the end, but you got to understand.
3.5 is still good.
3.5 is still good, because overall, I still really like this show. Yeah, to me, it's had its ups and its downs, its positives and its negatives, but it's good enough to me that I'm still hooked. Like, I still need to follow this version of Oliver Queen to the end, and I gotta see what happens, however many seasons we got left, and I hope it's more than just season 5, because next season will be the parallel of his last season on the island.
The last year on the island.
Last year on the island, so I will be curious to see what they do with season 6.
For me, I like some of the episodes I'd give 3 stars, some of the episodes I'd give 4.5 stars, some I'd give 3.5, so to be safe, I'm going to go with 3.5 stars, because 4 stars would mean I'm going to buy it, which I'm not. I really enjoyed the show. I'm looking forward to seeing the next season and seeing where it's going to go. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to all the characters. So I'm a fan.
How many stars would you give this season overall? Be sure to let us know in the comments. I'm Durbin.
I'm Laura.
Thank you so much for checking out Durbania.